So it's not.
Oh, no, it will be on you the whole time.
So this is our owl. We're calling him Owlie after a graphic novel character, and he will swivel around to wherever you are, as you can see.
Oh. So.
There's no escaping. There's no escaping.
Big brother's watching. Okay.
Yeah,
Understood.
right.
Okay, so this, I am the chair,
Yes, you are.
calling the meeting to order. Okay. Is that all I? Oh, yeah, Audrey, you're gonna do the roll call. Yeah.
Right, board member Cherie Adkins, present. Chair Amanda Houston,
Here.
board member Julia Kitely. Here. Board member Suzanne Minahan. Here. Board member Tim O'Leary,
Here.
vice chair and student commissioner Katie Ward, absent.
Okay, so we're moving on to the consent calendar.
Sorry,
Oh. Sorry.
and library director Corey Burkle, present. And staff note taker Audie Smith, present.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have any edits to the February advisory board meetings?
I never saw a copy of it. There were two marches.
And no minutes from February.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I meant to.
Yeah, you're right. I totally
but-
forgot about that. Yep. So you haven't seen those, so
Would we just approve them next meeting and?
yeah, we can
Okay.
just move to next meeting. Sorry about that.
Then I move that we approve, accept the library use report.
I second.
Great. Motion. Alright. Passes, moves through. What's the word I'm supposed to use? Motion. Granted.
I don't, do we have to vote on that one as a whole? That one just takes a first and a second and then we move on.
Yes.
I always get confused about that. Okay.
And then accept the library use report. Corey, did you want to share anything on?
Yeah, I'll take questions if there are any. It was another good month.
Improvement over past years.
Improvement over past years, although I did. I was a real winner this time, it looks like, because I printed off for you, the January door count. I was supposed to put February because we've got the full statistics from February, so. I don't know if I sent the February ones then in the email that I sent. And just printed it off the wrong one for you, or if I did both of those wrong, so.
The one you emailed sent, included January and February, circulation events and door count.
Okay, great.
And we don't need to make a motion for that one, correct? Okay. So moving on to public comments,
No public comments.
and then moving on to current library narratives.
Always the best thing ever.
Always
Just
the
love them. So good.
They're just so cute.
Like there were a couple where it was little kids, just like joy over accessing books, that just. Maybe some feelings.
Especially the little girl that kept loading up books on her desk.
Oh, yeah, this is heavy. There's one more.
That is sweet.
I was just before the meeting, I was walking around the block and there was this little 3-year-old walking this way with her dad from the park. And she was like, I need a library book. Dad, I need it.
3 years old, wow, that's pretty good.
We went to Hawaii in February and Sloan went to TIFF and said, I need all of us
Yes,
on
that's
about
right.
Hawaii. And
Yeah.
she found some really awesome, there's this book called Punky Aloha and it's a children's book. And it is it just is the best book. And I had to read it like 5 times in a row at dinner time, every dinner time. And it was awesome. It was so great. And yeah, just really fun.
That's very sweet.
Okay, great. So moving on to the library foundation report. Sheree.
Yeah, so we had our library foundation meeting last week, I believe. And it was a great meeting, I think primarily because we had a wonderful presentation from Corey about all of the library programs that the foundation's funds help support. And then had a great conversation centered on an ask from the library of the library foundation to sort of above and beyond the annual support from the foundation. Help provide funds that would enable the library to do like a postcard outreach to Dundee. And it would have, you know, a little bit of information about the library foundation on it as well, but most importantly, be about getting the word out about library services to folks in the Dundee community. So, and it was approved,
And it
which
was
was like an above and beyond ask.
Oh, wow.
So that was a big deal.
So grateful for that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good news.
Do you know how much it will be about?
I think we approved up to 2,400 or something close to
think
that.
so,
I should- Yeah, and just because there were some variables in terms of like what postage would cost
Uh-huh.
or printing costs, and we wanted to be able to say like, great, if you have a bunch of cost savings on the one side, maybe you do more of them and a broader group of community members. So it was up to 2,200 or 2,300 or something like that.
Yeah, we have a foundation member who is a graphic designer, so
Oh my God.
I'm hoping she'll be able to design it, but I don't know that for sure yet. So that, like, that's a flexible cost thing too. But if I'm able to, my plan is to also get to rural Newberg as well as Dundee. So we'll see how much I
That
would
would be
get.
excellent.
And your budget accounted for like standard postage, and we're now looking into whether we can do a bulk rate and all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff like that too to save money. So it'd be
Yeah.
awesome if it could reach more folks than just those. And then we had a good conversation. That was certainly a highlight and exciting, but then we had a conversation about outreach to law firms in the region and just getting them. There's a brochure from the Library Foundation that we want to have like at law firms for those attorneys that do estate planning with folks so that they can like say, you know, consider the library. So that was fun too.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a great.
Yeah.
meeting. It was
Yeah.
brief. It was a great meeting.
So is
Accomplished a
that
lot.
brochure done? You actually have it?
Yeah, there's a box full of them in
Mhm.
Corey's office, I think.
In circulation.
Oh, in circulation. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're really pretty. We did discover that there was one, now that they're all printed up, we discovered that there's one small error. Which may be the death of some of us who don't like things like that, but 99% of it looks amazing. So,
Like punctuation.
yeah, like a missed line, so a
Yeah,
sentence
it was
doesn't
like-
finish.
Yeah, a sentence. I think the photo got put over the top of one
Mm.
sentence.
Yeah.
So it kind of is just, it says that they won an award.
It doesn't say what the award
And-
was or something like that. So it's like not the end of the world. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
how to reach us or anything
yeah.
like that, but it was anyway, so.
Good conversation starter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What an award,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, we did have to dig to find out
yeah.
what award it was.
It was a Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber award, but
Excellent.
yeah, it was a great meeting. There you go. That's my report.
Awesome. Thank you. Library director's report, Cory.
Library directors reports. All right, at the end of February, we had Roy Gathercole here at the library. He's a disabled small business advisor. And he provided training for the library and a few other city staff. His wife Kathleen is a psychologist, and they've done this training at George Fox for years and years, and it was really a fantastic training. The staff was all super positive about it. One of the things that they did was sent us on a scavenger hunt in downtown Newberg. So you had one person who had to be in a wheelchair, one person who had glasses where you couldn't really see out of them. And then one person who was like the safety person there and had the map. And then you had to try to navigate through different things, and it was really great. It was really eye-opening, and we talked a lot about loss of agency and the things we can do to help people and what we can do as a library. And before that, Roy and Kathleen and I had walked through the library and talked about a few things. And so it was a really, really good training. I know that a few of the people who participated from the city went back to their departments, and now they're trying to do another training for their entire departments. So it was good. We had some people from Public Works, which was really great because they're the people in charge of the sidewalks too. So there was a lot that went on with that, a lot of good, great discussion. Like really, you want somebody who is doing your sidewalks to try to navigate them in a wheelchair. You know, that was just really, he felt that was really powerful for him too. And then people from the planning department too, and same thing too, you know, so it was very impactful. It was great. I also went to CPRD board twice. So got to sit with Julia, who goes to all of those meetings too. So what I was asking for, which I believe I've told you before, are the historical documents that are up at Riley Park. And they did approve it during this last meeting. So Audrey's working on where that's going to go in the annex exactly. And then we'll be working with Public Works to get all of those boxes to the library annex. And then the plan will be for them to be scanned so they can be accessible to everyone. And some of them, like, they probably won't last. Some of them are just falling apart. So it'll be great to get them scanned, and we'll see how the quality of those is, or if they last. So there's that. I presented to Newberg Kiwanis group about the Newberg Public Library. I've heard back that they're planning on gifting the library $500 for children's playways. So that's lovely. It was great to talk to them. Britta Mansfield, who is, she does a lot of work with local history. She wrote a book called Newberg Then and Now, and she presented that at the library on an evening, and there were about 20 attendees for that. So that was great. The budget committee starts meeting at the end of April. And we're just finishing up everything that needs to go into the budget. So this time we're writing, sending pictures and also writing narratives about how what we're doing at the library is also fulfilling council goals. So, which is not difficult. There's plenty that we do that fit many of the council's goals. So, and I think that's it.
And then the library friends report.
And then the Friends reports, I'm so excited about that too. Man, it was just, I had the Library Friends and the Library Foundation in the same day, and it was just a great day. It was so great. So the Library Friends, I excused myself from the room because it felt a little awkward. Because they were deciding on how much money they were going to give the library. And then from what I heard, one person suggested one amount, and then another person bumped it up, and then another person bumped it up. So it was just really generous. They're giving us $30,000 for shelving panels in the Carnegie Room. So if you've been up there, we have some really lovely panels that have fern leaves on them, and they're clear in part of it, or a little bit see-through. Yeah. And so the light comes in, and it makes it much easier to find things on those shelves. And then we have some that have this really terrible like cloth over the top of them that's been that way for probably about 20 years now. So that is going to change, and we're very excited about it. I'm not sure if 30,000 will cover the entire thing. So there's two different options. We might end up fundraising for the rest of it, and it might also be a multi-year project with the Library Friends. So excited about that. That was a great meeting. I pulled off their minutes here so I could share those with you. Let's see. The sales for the month from the library that the Library Friends made was $471. That includes books and merchandise. And Audrey Smith and I did present about best practices for processing of thrift books. Just to make sure we're all on the same page. If materials come in and they're in decent shape, but they're just not selling in the lobby sales, then those books are sent to Thrift Books. And then Thrift Books pays the library friends. First of all, they pick up all of those extra books, which is great. And then they pay the library friends some of the funds that they get from selling those books when that happens. So that's just another way that they have income coming in for the library. So it was great. Any questions about either one of those?
What does fundraising look like if you were to fundraise for the shelving?
Well, so what it looked like last time we were fundraising, the most recently for the windows and Carnegie windows and doors.
There's an email, right?
Yeah, I put something in the library newsletter and we got an amazing response from the community. And that's what I did.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
I was frankly blown away.
yeah.
I thought it was going to be
You'd have to like ask.
a lot more work than it was. So, and that, who knows, like, maybe the timing was just right. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I do think that having a very specific project to ask people money for is the best way to go about that too.
Cool.
So does it goes through the Friends or it goes through the foundation?
Yes. So.
Okay.
So, so there's two separate entities.
Right.
So the fundraising that we're doing for a project like the Carnegie shelving would go through the Friends. If we could do fundraising with the foundation for something else for another specific project. So it just kind of depends on what group we're working with. For that. The Friends have more flexibility, so it's usually easier working with them.
Great. So I'm moving on to unfinished business, overdrive statistics.
Overdrive statistic. Okay, I put those in your packet. So Tim had asked about this at the last meeting and I love statistics and I'm not being sarcastic about that. I find them really fascinating. So it was a joy to go back and look through to see the increases. It's been really fun to see too, like the shift between ebooks and e-audiobooks. I feel like e-audiobooks are having this very big moment right now. And I just see that continuing to grow. So
That's the first thing I look for. If it's not there, then I'll look for a Kindle or something.
yeah. Yeah, I do. I read a lot through e-audiobooks.
Well, every year it improved number wise.
It is improving number wise. And another thing that also is improving is the budget. So CCRLS is putting more money into ebooks and e-audiobooks than they have in the past. And that makes a difference too. State funding is another way that we get more ebooks and e-audiobooks, and that has gone up as well. For this next budget year, I have more money going into that from the Newberg library budget as well. Because we just keep seeing this as an area of growth, but it is also it's expensive. These are so when we're purchasing ebooks and e-audiobooks, you're looking at oftentimes between $40 and $75. But when I say purchasing, I don't mean we get to keep it forever and ever. Depending on the publisher, we either get a certain number of checkouts, or it's for a certain length of time, or some of them even do concurrent checkouts up to a certain number. So it's ridiculous, depending on publisher. Before I can submit my order, I have to go through and click all of these buttons and say, Penguin Random House does it like this, and this company does this. And so I have to check that, yes, I understand. Yes, I understand. Yes, I understand. And then that's what we get.
Is it because of like they have to pay whoever's voicing it?
So they have to
Like
pay the
royalty,
author. Yeah, it's
right.
definitely copyright. So if you have something like If you have like some of the Jane Austen books,
Mhm.
then you could have as many checkouts of those as you want because there's no copyright on those any longer. So it really depends on. the
But I mean, if
copyright.
you buy a book, a hard copy of a book, there's no limitations on how many checkouts that you get for that. So I'm just wondering, like,
Yeah,
for the. I just,
it's
Trying to wrap my head around it,
very,
like,
yeah.
yeah, you pay, like, I guess
Yeah.
someone's collecting something, a royalty or something if they're.
Yep. This is the way it works and everyone in the library world wishes it worked.
Yeah,
differently.
I can imagine having to keep track of all the different nuances.
Well, I mean, part of that is, we get notifications of books that are expiring. So then you can decide, you can go in and look at the holds. There's a lot of reports you can pull, so it's not as onerous as it could be. But you go in and you look at, okay, so this is expiring, it doesn't have any holds on it, it's not a super popular title anymore, we can let it expire. Or something like, Harry Potter. For the kids' books, there's not nearly as much demand right now as there are with adult books, with a few exceptions like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter and a few other ones like, those where we're always going to be purchasing them. At least it feels like that right now because there's just high demand for those.
Is it one person that does all the work as far as electronic? Either ebooks or, the recordings and that type of thing, is it dedicated by one person that reviews everything, does the purchasing, or?
So right now, the way it's working is there is one person who's doing adult and teen titles and one person who's doing children's titles. But it's really not a ton of work because all we're doing is buying down the high holds list. So we run a report that shows us which books Newberg patrons have the most holds on.
Mhm.
And then that's where we spend our money, because we just don't have a lot of money for this. And so all we're doing is trying to make sure that those holds lists are not quite so long. So when you go into, and we're gonna do a little something on Overdrive in a minute, but when you go in and it says you have a 10-week wait, and this many people are ahead of you. Well, that's only showing you one tier, like the top tier. So in the meantime, Newberg could buy down that holds list. And it really wouldn't show up for you like that, but you'll still get it sooner. So it's.
Yeah, so like that book you didn't think was coming in 10 weeks comes in 4 and you already have all these other books.
That is what
That
happens.
actually is kind of, I kind of sometimes count on that 10 weeks, but it's
Uh-huh.
not, yeah.
Yeah, plan accordingly.
That's right, it's like, oh, I can get these other ones then instead.
No, I had 3 books come in today on Libby. I was like, why? You weren't supposed to come in all together.
That's right.
Yeah, but it is what happens.
Okay.
Well, that's exciting. That is the primary way my family has consumed books over the past decade, and my
Yeah.
son's always got an audiobook.
Yeah.
going, which is awesome. And Libby is the place where to do it. So it's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's exciting.
Awesome. Adding additional board member requests.
So that one is on pause. That does not look like it will be happening anytime soon.
Mhm.
So. You just have to hope you don't split the vote. Or you can't leave it.
Is it on pause because the city? Is it on pause because?
So they had just so recently redone everything and
Just too much. right now.
with the city council, yeah, not for the city council, for the boards, for the city boards. So it's just not on their plate to get back to that anytime soon.
New business, library resource of the month, Libby by Overdrive, how to, I see these cards are right in front of us. for you.
Yes, so you've got cards in front of you, and then I'm gonna do share my screen, and then I have a couple little things to go through and show you. Oh, that's not the one, sorry.
Where's the pictures from your vacation last year?
Right, not on this computer.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go back to this. Queued up, there we go.
Meet Libby, the library reading app. With Libby, you can borrow free ebooks, digital audiobooks, and magazines from your library. All you need is a library card. When you open Libby for the first time, you'll search for your library. Then you can explore the collection and borrow titles or place holds instantly. On your shelf, you'll find all your loans, holds, and tags. By default, loans are automatically downloaded for offline use when you're on Wi-Fi. Your loans are returned automatically on their due dates, so you never need to worry about late fees. Tap Manage Loan to see more options about each title, like returning early. Tap a title to open it and start reading. If you belong to a library in the United States, you'll see the option to send most ebooks to Kindle or to start reading in Libby. Use the footer to search, visit your library, access your shelf, and see your timeline. You can also open your current read. In the Libby menu, you can see your notifications, add a library, get help, and more. Download Libby to start borrowing today. Happy reading!
All right, so also show you.
Did anybody read the last thing he told me?
It's
Yeah.
on my shelf, but
Yeah,
I
you
haven't
read it? Did you watch the Apple TV version of it? Yeah, don't do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I won't.
Yeah,
Go out of my way.
Jennifer Garner. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very good.
What was it?
The book's better. The last thing you told me, it's a Apple TV came out with the series of it like in the last year. Jennifer Garner is like the main character. The daughter that the girl that plays Hannah is really good in it, but otherwise it feels a little bit too like,
Contrived.
yeah, or just like, you just feel like she comes off as really helpless in it. Where-
Which she didn't really in the book.
Yeah, so it's like it was a little.
Sorry, I thought I had everything queued up and then I lost the.
That's fine, we can always share books.
Well, I was also going to go to,
Yes, please.
I was gonna go, I just realized too, I don't wanna. I don't mind you seeing what I'm all reading, but I'm not super excited about showing everybody on a video what my library card number is and all that kind of stuff, so.
Fair.
Yeah, so. I guess what I would say is Libby is super fun, and if you need any help with it, we get questions all the time at the reference desk. And we walk people through how to use it all the time. The part that I think is a little bit confusing is when you are, I should have cleared my cache. So when you're putting your library, the name of your library in, there's one place where you choose Newberg Public Library and there's one place where you choose CCRLS. And that part is the most confusing part for people. If you have library cards from other library systems, you can add those to Libby, which is great. You can get a passport card by taking your Newberg library card to say Sherwood in Washington County. And then you can get a new library card at Sherwood and then also have access to Washington County Libby, which is
Great.
more
24.
access than we currently have through CCRLS. So that can be something nice too. I do have, there's a staff member who has parents who live in another state and they gave her their library card number too, so.
I have mine from Seattle still.
Do you?
It's fantastic.
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, is Libby new to CC? Okay,
No, we've probably had it for maybe 10 years or so.
okay.
So what happened with Libby and Windows tablets? It
Oh,
worked for a while and then it all shut down and the information you could find online just said it will be offline. It kind of didn't say that they'd ever bring it back. So unless you have an Apple-based tablet, you can't use it on a tablet. I can use it on my phone, obviously. And I use the Kindle app on a tablet now,
okay.
which gets me most things, but they just took it away.
And were you using, because there was Overdrive and then there was Libby. There were two different
There,
apps. So
it was true, I had been using Overdrive and then I switched to Libby because Libby was so much more friendly.
Yeah.
And then I can still use Libby on the tablet if I have Wi-Fi. But
Okay.
the whole point of using Libby to me is that I don't necessarily have access to Wi-Fi.
Exactly. You know, I don't have an answer for that, but Jessica would have an answer for that. She is our all things Libby person. What's great for us is that Jessica not only buys the Libby books for us here at the library, but she's also the state library
Oh, wow.
materials collection person for the fiction ebooks. So, and she does a fantastic job. So, yes.
But if we take our card to Sherwood,
Mhm.
then they'll give us a card and
Mhm.
log into.
Yeah,
the-
so what they'll do is they'll give you, based on your having a Newberg library card, they'll give you a passport card. So you could check out, say, up to 10 books at their library. Or you could just use it for Libby as well. And so then when you get on to Libby, if there's a place for you to add an additional library card, like I have my daughter's card on there and other ones like that too, because we have the same access. So then you just add that on there and then what it will say when I'm searching for a book, it will say, Washington County has this available sooner. And I'll be like, thank you very much.
Yeah, because right now, actually, all the audiobooks or ebooks I have are all checked out from Washington County, because I can
Okay.
tell by the color of the card.
Right,
Theirs is blue and orange and ours is, I think, green and blue.
Mhm.
And so it's
I'll have to
easy
do
for me to
that.
tell where it came from. I don't actually care most of the time where it came from. It's just, I want it.
Grateful that we have it, yeah.
Somebody has it,
That's a
and
great
I can look
system.
at it.
Mhm.
I wish I did it sooner,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it really is wonderful. I am very, and there are also e-magazines now
Yeah.
available on Libby as well, which not a lot of people are aware of.
You could read
Yeah.
the New Yorker.
Could read the New
But you can't
Yorker.
read the Atlantic. Oh, bummer. I can't find that anywhere.
It's really new periodicals and newspapers and magazines are really interesting in the,
Mhm.
I know,
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal is one that we're going to be giving up at the library because it's, if we wanted to renew it for the year, it would cost $900,
Oh.
which we felt was a little steep.
For the paper copy, yeah.
Yeah, so just not able to, I don't have the budget for that, so.
Right.
All right, any other questions?
I think I'll be putting around with this.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
and the
great.
other, one of the things that I had learned on there, the tags,
Yeah.
I had never used before, and my sister came to visit me and she said, don't you tag stuff that you want to read? And I said, how do I do that? So she explained that if you
Yeah.
see something, you can just tag it. You don't have to check it out. You don't put it in the queue, but later on, if you go back and go, oh, I saw something I liked on cooking Italian style or whatever, you can go back and find your book. Friendly reminder.
Yeah, sure, you might agree or disagree, but I feel like Overdrive is kind of clunky where Libby is really user friendly. It's very,
much
it's,
easier.
yeah, so easier, way easier to. Yeah,
And Overdrive is not being, they're not making any updates to it, so, I mean, which
You
is
can
why
tell,
it's so.
yeah.
wonderful. Yeah,
It's
It's
like-
terrible.
yeah.
So
When the internet
definitely
came out,
use
yeah.
Libby, yes. So my hope for sharing the resource is that you will, if you're not using it, that you'll know how to use it now, and that you'll also be able to share with other people. I do not know I mean, I always end up talking about libraries with people because it's my favorite subject. And I'm an introvert, and so if I have to make conversation, it's really gonna be about books or library. But I always end up telling people about Libby, because sometimes people will apologetically tell me that, oh, they listen to audiobooks, or, well, they read, they do ebooks, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I do a lot of that too, nothing to be sorry about. Do you know that
Right.
your library has this resource? So,
Do a lot of patrons check out passes to things?
yes,
Is that pretty popular?
yes, would you like me to talk about that next month?
Well, I'm curious about it because I told somebody at work and some other people were listening. It was like, I know I have a library and they live in Sherwood
Yeah,
and they've done it. And the other people were, I've never heard of that. It was
Yeah.
just like,
It's great, I've done it.
yeah,
When we first moved here, particularly, it was like, this is great because you can go explore different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not have to break the budget.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Especially the little.
Or if
kiddos.
you decide it's someplace you want to join later on, that's great. It's a great introduction. You can go.
We love the Sherwood Library, that we loved where the little play, cause they have like a pretend like. Like bake stand, and Sloan wants to pretend that, pretend that it's like Sloan's shop, but anyways. But what I'm worried about, that doesn't matter, but what I'm worried about is like, she'll wanna check out books there, and then we always have like some. Oh, from Newberg Library, and I'm just like, do I need to really add to the like, I owe you
Where
guys?
you can have lost books. for-
Yeah, like. That's just me.
oh, that's great.
Would you want to confirm the next board meetings? The date for the
Sure,
next board
yeah,
meeting?
Sorry,
Well, yeah, we are at that point.
Um,
Let's go.
the next board meeting will be April.
8.
18th. Yes. And then we will meet in June and not July, is that right?
Right, so, meeting in June, meeting in May, meeting in June,
May.
no. No July, that's a typical break. And then August, we won't be able to meet on our. Well, there's a couple of things. If it works, we could move our August date by 1 week. So it would usually be the 15th of the month. We could do the 8th if it works for you, or we could also do the 29th, although that's getting pretty close to.
I'm going to be out on, like, what is it, the Wednesday before the 17th for 2 weeks.
the 17th. So that would be the 14th.
Mhm.
So you wouldn't be able to make the August meeting then either.
Correct.
Does the 8th work for you?
Yeah.
Does the 8th work for other people? I know it's a long way out right now too for summer stuff, so.
All I have to do is set out the trash, so yeah.
Possibly, Nike will get a wellness week in August again, so
I'm sorry, you what?
Nike will get a wellness week in August again,
Oh.
so.
Good evening. The library will be closing in about 20
May not be
minutes.
in town.
If you would like to sign up for a library card today,
Yeah,
please fill out an application at the circulation desk in the next 10 minutes. Thank you.
we don't know when that is though,
Yeah,
yet, but
and as long as we have a quorum too, then we can still.
will Katie be here? Well, I mean, I know she's local, but she'll be.
So Katie will, her term goes until December, till the end of December, yeah.
It's one of those days where I'm like flying back in and would drive from the airport to here
Oh.
straight to the meeting, which
Uh-huh.
is common, but just to make an asterisk that if anything
Mhm.
happens with my flight or with traffic, then I wouldn't be able to make the meeting if it was on the 8th.
We could also do the 29th too, if that worked out better for people.
No difference for me.
No difference for you
More probable for me.
of being here?
Mhm.
Okay,
Me too.
how about the 29th then, does that work?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. So August 29th it is. And then September. September would be September 19th, and what I could do is I could have Bobby do our senior librarian. Could do the meeting that week, if that works.
Yeah, could she talk about the Hispanic program too?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I would like to hear that.
September 18th,
Since if we're gonna have her anyway, we can make her perform.
make her talk about what she's passionate about. That sounds a
Sounds
little
right.
nice.
Say, yeah, wait.
Oh, I give her a
I
hard
mean,
time.
that Bobby, she's not gonna perform, right?
Bobby and Spanish services. All right, that sounds great. Anything
Great,
else?
awesome. If there isn't any more questions, we can adjourn the meeting. Yeah,
All right,
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank
Happy
you.
Easter, everybody.
Thanks.